Welcome to the WBNS 10 TV presentation of the 2012 Jefferson Awards. The Jefferson Awards is brought to you by Nationwide.
Columbus is a city blessed with so many amazing people whose generous spirit makes our community a wonderful place to live. The faces you are looking at are those of people who embody that generous spirit. They are the finalists for the 2012 Jefferson Awards. Each and every one of these people has had a positive impact on the lives of those around them, and they have shown that they truly care about the welfare of others. This is a common trait exhibited by all of the nominees for the 2012 Jefferson Awards. Hello, I'm Angela Pace, Director of Community Affairs for WBNS 10 TV. This program will highlight 5 unique stories about 5 amazing people. Our first Jefferson Award winner quit his job to make sure that World War II veterans could make the trip to Washington, D.C. to visit their memorial on the National Mall.
It all began at a small airfield in Springfield, Ohio. A short trip to Washington, D.C. to honor World War II veterans for the sacrifices they made defending our country. James McLaughlin was there at the beginning.
The first flight was actually the 21st of May of 2005. I happened to be sitting in front of the TV with a cup of coffee. It caught my attention when I heard a World War II veteran say, "Hello, boys." And I watched the remainder of that video, about 2.5 or 3 minutes. And it was very touching. I have to admit, I had tears in my eyes when it was finished, and I was hooked just that quickly. It doesn't take long.
As the co-founder of Honor Flights Columbus, he organized the first flights out of the Columbus hub. His dedicated work with Honor Flights has elevated him to chairman of its National Board of Directors. The Honor Flights mission is to fly veterans to their memorials in Washington, D.C. The trip has an amazing impact on these veterans.
I've had coincidences where men have actually served together, not seen one another in 65 years. And suddenly you hear, "You're Bubba." "Yeah, I'm Bubba." I mean, it's astounding. And what we hear from the veterans, almost every single one of them, is this is one of the greatest days of my life. They're 2 inches taller and 40 years younger.
As chairman, he heads up the Lone Eagle program to assist veterans who live in remote locations and the TLC program that escorts veterans with failing health. The acronym TLC stands for Their Last Chance.
If he has less than a year to go, he can't wait his turn in line. He or she goes to the top of the list. And what I do, I start calling them one after another until I find veterans ready to go. Unfortunately, what I often find is that I'm too late and they've already passed away. So instead, I'm talking to a widow. And those are tough. Those are tough calls. I've had as many as 4 in a row where all 4 men have passed away.
The urgency to thank these veterans is a priority. He knows the trip is often good therapy for years of hidden anguish.
I've had contact with wives and sons and daughters, mostly wives, saying for the last 50-some years that man's been having these horrible dreams. Since the day he came back from that trip, he hasn't had one. And if you're at the memorial, especially at what's called the Wall of Stars or the Freedom Wall, where there are 4,000 gold stars representing the 400,000 who died, you'll see that World War II veteran looking at that wall with a tear in his eye. And all of a sudden, his shoulders will just kind of slump. And he'll, at that moment, he just forgave himself for being lucky.
From an airfield in Springfield, Ohio, to 110 Honor Flight hubs nationwide with 81,000 veterans served, James McLaughlin selflessly dedicates his life to honor America's greatest generation.
They first saved the nation, then they rebuilt the nation. We have an obligation to thank them for that.
James McLaughlin won his Jefferson Award at the Jefferson Awards ceremony held earlier this month. His devotion to our veterans is the hallmark of a Jefferson Award winner. When we return, we'll meet a woman who has a soft spot in her heart for children in foster care, and a man dedicated to changing the lives of people with autism. Our next Jefferson Award winner knows that life for children in foster care can be difficult and that fitting in can be hard for them. She knows that one special gift can change their lives dramatically.
For a child, a bicycle represents two very distinct pleasures, freedom and joy. Freedom to explore the world around you and the simplest pleasure of riding your bike. Kate Cook Gatch is the bike lady. Her charity provides bicycles to children in foster care through Franklin County Children's Services.
Bike Lady Inc. was started in 2008 as an impromptu bike-a-thon to buy bikes, helmets, and locks and provide them all to Franklin County Children's Services for their Holiday Wish program.
Since 2008, Kate has donated more than 1,200 bicycles to children who really need something to smile about.
One thing that these children can do, like any other child, they can ride a bike. They can go around the block. They don't need somebody supervising them for every second. And I think it's intrinsic that they have that rite of passage, that sense of freedom, that sense of independence, and at least with one typical childhood activity, they get to be like anybody else.
Her connection to these children started when Kate was a foster parent herself, but now her ties are closer to home. Kate has adopted 2 children, and she knows that foster children struggle to fit in.
Foster children and their caregivers are under tremendous rules and regulations of what they can and cannot do. For instance, a foster child cannot go to a slumber party unless their foster parent goes with them. They can't go to a public swimming pool. They can't jump on a trampoline. The list of can'ts just can't.
And for the older kids, the bikes are a vehicle to a better road ahead.
This gets a foster child transportation that they might be in dire need of, to have a part-time job at McDonald's, to join a football team. There's some structured activities out there that foster children could be doing if they had the transportation to get there.
What drives Kate's passion is a simple vision.
I'll send an email out on Christmas morning to all the donors, and I'll say, sit back for 30 seconds this morning and imagine the 351 kids or 524 kids and what they just saw this morning. And I'll get responses back from people on Christmas Day when they're celebrating with their own family, and they'll tell me as a donor that was their best present that day, to imagine this unseen child that they'll never meet and that they were able to give that. And that makes it really worthwhile for me.
The success of Bike Lady comes from a feeling we all have shared.
It all comes down to the resonation of remembering the click, 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 click as the chain goes around, or the freedom of having your arms out and riding no-handed going down a hill. That is pure joy when you're 8 and 10, and I think most of the people that give to Bike Lady feel that same joy.
Kate understands the freedom and joy that a bicycle represents to children in foster care. Her actions exemplify the caring compassion of a Jefferson Award winner. Congratulations to Kate Cook Gatch, the Bike Lady. Taking care of loved ones with autism presents many challenges for families here in Central Ohio. Autism is the fastest growing serious developmental disability in this country. Our next Jefferson Award winner fights for the rights of these citizens to receive the care that they need.
There's a disorder affecting almost 1 in 110 of our children. With no known cause and no known cure, it creates a puzzle for the people and families affected. The disorder is autism, and Doug Krinsky fights every day to help find the pieces to this puzzle. Autism is a disorder that affects neural development of the brain, impairing social interactions and communication skills. Doug and his family live with autism every day. His son Michael was diagnosed when he was 4 years old.
Michael, one of our twin boys who's now 14, we were trying to figure out what was going on. So we finally got our official diagnosis of autism, and I was not pleased with the public school system. I was not pleased with the DD system. So I met with my superintendent of our DD system, and he said, you need to talk to your state representative. At that time it was John Peterson. And I met with John, and we decided we needed to accomplish a lot in the state of Ohio, and that's how I got started. I was upset. I needed to do something about it, so the way I could vent that energy was to be positive and get things done.
As an advocate, he is involved with Autism Speaks rallies, fundraisers, and informational meetings to highlight issues that families struggle with while caring for loved ones with autism. But real change happens at the legislative level of our state government. Doug regularly meets with the Ohio Autism Legislative Caucus. Its current initiative is obtaining insurance to help cover the cost of treatment for children and adults with autism.
My number one push in 2012 is going to be to get insurance coverage passed in the state of Ohio. This is not a partisan issue. This is an absolutely equal discriminating disability. So whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. Everybody understands the need for insurance coverage. We just have to get all the folks together, all the parties that are interested to help. We just need to get everybody at the table and figure it out.
His peers in the caucus know Doug is a dedicated advocate.
He has a great passion and an ability to really talk about the issue from personal experience and a desire to see something get done, and he's not going to quit until it does get done.
What we find some of our most effective advocates are people who have been impacted by the condition, as Doug has in his family. The emotion, the passion, that's what it takes to keep people moving, keep people motivated, and to get the job done.
The biggest hope I have is, quite frankly, for them to keep hope that, you know, maybe eventually we will find a cause, maybe we will find what is the cure to help these folks. And really, I want them to have the freedom to go out and do what they think they want to do, like any other individual in the state of Ohio.
Doug Krinsky's dedication to people with autism guarantees that the pieces of the autism puzzle will one day come together.
Doug Krinsky received his Jefferson Award earlier this month at the Jefferson Awards ceremony. His efforts to support people with autism define the qualities of a Jefferson Award winner. The global problem of human trafficking has become a local issue, and we'll introduce you to a young lady who is fighting the ravages of human trafficking on the streets of our community. We'll be right back. Inspired by the startling story of a woman imprisoned by the horrors of human trafficking, our next Jefferson Award winner helps to restore the lives of women who are caught up in this human tragedy. And she does it all while she is still in high school.
Every day in Columbus, women and children are for sale in our city. They're soliciting on the streets, being beaten, drugged, and raped, stalked by pimps and dope dealers, held against their will, profiting for another. When they're arrested, they're sent to jail or juvenile lockups, only to be back out on the street in a matter of weeks or months.
Like, these women are addicted to drugs. They have relationships that they're addicted to. They're being controlled by other people a lot of times.
Caitlin Vandeveer advocates against human trafficking. In her young life, she has witnessed its ravages in Southeast Asia and right here at home. Her hands-on work is in support of the women in Judge Paul Herbert's Catch Court. Catch Court has an innovative approach to stop the cycle of prostitution for women in the program.
Catch Court stands for Changing Actions to Change Habits, and it's for women who have been charged with solicitation. They can either wait out their time in jail, or they can commit to a 2-year program to turn their life around.
Caitlin has worked with Catch Court as a volunteer with DOMA International and works to help stop the tragedy these women endure.
Jail doesn't address to solve those problems, while this program first off works because the women want to change, and the only people in the program are women that want to change. And then this program gives them all the connections and resources and support and help that they need to be able to do that.
Getting the human trafficking message out means getting it closer to home. Caitlin sponsors informational meetings to connect people to this worldwide epidemic. Her meetings are called Slavery is Real.
The purpose of Slavery is Real, it's a movie night to raise awareness about human trafficking. It's really, really simple, which is why it works well for me. It's just a small group, basically, or whoever wants to come. We watch one movie, every month. I'll just set a date on a Friday and we watch a movie about human trafficking.
Key to ending human trafficking is knowing who's at risk.
The average age of entry into prostitution, the most common age of entry is between 12 and 14 years old. But then as these people get older, then they're arrested because they're over 18. And even as minors, there's no place to put them, so they just go in juvenile detention centers.
And who is perpetuating the problem.
People who use prostitutes or clients of prostitutes, they don't realize what they're feeding into. It's such a hidden subject in a lot of ways, and I think just bringing it out of silence.
The message is loud and clear.
Caitlin Vandeveer's dedication to shine a light on this worldwide problem and fight for freedom and justice for its victims is an inspiration to us all. Coming up, we'll meet a young lady whose dedication to her ailing grandmother inspired a charity that spreads warmth and comfort throughout our community. We'll be right back. Our next Jefferson Award winner turned a simple gift for her ailing grandmother into a charity operation that helps hundreds of sick children here at the Ronald McDonald House and helps to comfort the hearts of the families who love them.
When someone dear to you is ill, you'll do just about anything to provide them comfort. At 13 years of age, Kristen Sellen needed to do something to help her grandmother.
We were really close and I wanted to do something for her, but I knew that there wasn't a lot that I could do. So I decided to make her a blanket, and she never complained, but when she did, she complained about the hospitals being really cold.
Kristen saw how that one blanket touched her grandmother, and she wanted to spread that warmth to other people who were ill. She created Cuddles from Kristen. She started fundraising, hosting blanket making parties, then adopted a charity where her blankets could do the most good.
My mom and I visited the Ronald McDonald House, and because we were thinking of different places where we could bring the blankets, and immediately when we walked in, I fell in love with it and knew that this was the place to bring them.
Somebody like Kristen is amazing to the Ronald McDonald House, that she would think enough of the work that's going on here and make it a part of her life to be here. When someone's going through a difficult time and knowing that there's somebody out there that supports you, that helps you get through that challenge.
Kristen's charity began to expand. She enlisted friends, schoolmates, and even complete strangers to help her create the blankets for Cuddles from Kristen.
I've had Girl Scout troops, a couple Boy Scouts have made them before, my friends, family. I've had a couple blanket parties before. I've had 2 at my house with my friends where we all just come over and make blankets, and it's really fun. And then I've also had one at the Westerville Public Library, and then a couple weeks ago I had one here where we ended up making 40 blankets.
Her friends and supporters know that the comfort a blanket provides is a relief for families with children at Nationwide Children's Hospital.
I think it brings them like a sense of home and comfort and something that will remind them of a better time.
I think the blankets are a sense of security to those kids. It's soft, it's something that they can touch and hold, and just gives them a little bit of security, and they know that somebody cared enough about them to give them something during this time.
Cuddles from Kristen has made hundreds of blankets for the kids at the Ronald McDonald House, and that simple gesture has inspired thousands of smiles, knowing that someone cares.
I want to try to be a positive role model to my peers. The joy that I receive from it really just inspires me to continue making them.
For caring enough to think of others and create comfort for children and families in need, Kristen Sellen is an example of the caring spirit of a Jefferson Award winner. We'll be right back with more from the 2012 Jefferson Awards special right after this message. The Jefferson Awards ceremony provides an excellent opportunity to honor some of our community's most caring individuals. The event was held at the Columbus Museum of Art and hosted by Community Affairs Director Emeritus Chuck White and myself. The nominees and guests were entertained by the wonderful song stylings of Vocal Spotlight. Our nominees heard from Columbus Mayor Michael Coleman, last year's local and national Jefferson Award winner Rachel Muha, Franklin County Commissioner Paula Brooks, and Chad Jester, Vice President of Corporate Citizenship for Nationwide. The Jefferson Awards ceremony provides a wonderful way to say thank you to all of our nominees. The work of all our Jefferson Award winners and finalists is vital to making Central Ohio a special place to live. Each year, one Jefferson Award winner is selected to represent our city at the National Jefferson Awards. This year, our winner is Kate Cook Gatch. Kate will travel to Washington, D.C. to represent Columbus at the national ceremony. Congratulations to Kate Cook Gatch, a dedicated and inspirational woman. If you know someone special who is making a difference in the lives of others, nominate him or her next January for a 2013 Jefferson Award. Thank you so much for watching the 2012 Jefferson Awards special. From all of us here at 10 TV, have a great day.
The 2012 Jefferson Awards special has been brought to you by Nationwide and WBNS 10 TV.